We will make a start. Like I was saying a minute ago, it is lovely to see everybody. Great to see some faces again. It feels like it's been a long time since we have seen all of you. So the idea of the presentation today is just to give you some information on the schools reopening in next week, or sorry, the week after, next Thursday for new children, and just be careful, Miss Simmons, you keep muting me there. That's all right. Okay, so sorry, I was saying, yep, the idea of the presentation is just to provide some information ready for the start of term. If we do have any new families in the room, it is lovely to meet you all, and we really look forward to welcoming the new families Thursday of next week, and then the returning families on the Sunday following that. So during this presentation, I'll talk to you about preparing for school for the reopening, health and safety, and then also teaching and learning, because there have been a few questions raised with a few of the sort of terminology used, and we just want to make that really clear of what is meant by the terminology. So as you can see, these are our heads of year. We have early years, Key Stage 1, and then Miss Simmons and Miss Lloyd, head of year 3 and year 4. So this is the year 3 and year 4 presentation. We've decided to do a presentation for the different sort of brackets because some of the information is slightly different. The majority of the information is the same, but there are a few little tweaks on, example, where you enter the building, but the majority of the information is the same. So, we're very pleased to announce that the KHDA have given their approval for our readiness plan to open for this academic year. We have actually had the compliance visit, it was about 2 hours ago. We had a gentleman from the KHDA walking around the site, and he has checked everything and is happy with what we have put in place for the children coming back in September. Flexibility is definitely one of the key words. We do recognise that these are anxious times, and some families may not be totally confident with sending their children back to school just yet. And we are aware of this, and we are offering remote learning for the children that aren't comfortable with coming back to school as yet. If you do want remote learning for your child, please do drop me an email. I am the point of contact for remote learning. My email will come up later on in the presentation, so you can make a note of that then if you do not have it already. Throughout the presentation, if you do have any questions, please do jot them down, and then if I could ask you to email them to Miss Simmons and Miss Lloyd at the end of the presentation. And what we will do is put together a frequently asked questions document and then send that out to you all. Because on that document, you'll see questions from other parents and you'll think, oh, I wish I'd asked that question, and it will have the answer for you on there. So we have had 118 different protocols from the KHDA that we have had to consider for the school reopening. And one of the protocols is that teachers and pupils older than 6, so from year 2 upward, will be required to wear a face mask at all times. So children in year 3 and 4 will be required to wear a face mask when they enter the school building. We do ask that they keep a spare face mask with them. I know from my own experience wearing the blue masks, you put it on your ears and sometimes a little plastic bit pops off. So we do ask that you keep, or the children, sorry, keep a spare with them. The children will have a little cubby box underneath their table, and they'll be able to keep water, pens, pencils, and things in the cubby box. So they will have a space to keep things. With entering the school site, it is only permitted for one family member to enter the facility for drop-off and for pickup. And because of that, we have extended the time for drop-off slightly, so the children can come into the building anywhere from 7:20 to 8 a.m. For years 3 and 4, we ask that you drop them off. I'll show you some pictures later, but at the picket fence by the boarding house, by the print room, and then the children will make their own way into the building there. Pickup will be anywhere from 2 to 3 p.m. and we'll be operating an appointment system. So similar to a parents' evening, you will book a slot and that's the time that you come. I'll mention that a bit later on, so I'll mention that in more detail then. When you come into the building, you will follow the one-way system for pickup, for example. You'll go to there's yellow dots down the middle of the corridor. The child will be ready, and then the child will be passed to you. You carry on down the one-way system, and then you exit the building that way. We have asked for a maximum of 10 minutes within the building. We are aware that some families have more than one child, and 10 minutes to get around to the different year groups may be challenging. So if it's a little bit over the 10 minutes, that is absolutely fine. But we would like to keep the time families are in school to an absolute minimum to reduce the congestion, therefore to reduce the number of groups and the crowding that we have in school. And obviously, as you see everywhere around the malls and restaurants, it is a 2-meter distancing that we ask, and masks are well worn at all times. I do have my mask with me, but obviously I can't wear it in the presentation, otherwise you won't be able to hear me, and I've shut myself away in my office. So like I said, year 3 and 4 will be entering through the print room door. Once they've entered through the print room door, there's a thermal imaging camera. They will have their temperature checked, and then they will make their way either to the left for year 3 or up the stairs to year 4. Obviously, parents come into school quite a lot normally during term time and meet with form teachers and meet with heads of year. But we do ask that any meetings for this term are held online. So on Zoom now, for example, if you do want to speak to your child's class teacher, drop them an email and then they'll be able to arrange a meeting with you online. So track and trace. One of the main reasons that we have the time slots in school for pickup is so we can track and trace who has been into school. Heaven forbid we have a case of coronavirus in school. We would then need to be able to provide who was on site, who was in that corridor, who has had access to that child or that family within school. So that is why we ask, it is really important that you do let your child's form teacher know who the designated adult will be that will pick the child up. Obviously, if you book an appointment time, it will have your name. But if somebody else is coming to pick up the child, please do notify the class teacher and say, today or this week, it will be my husband coming into school and picking up the child, so we can keep a log of who has come onto the school site and into the corridors. You will be getting a letter about the appointment system and how to book, so please do not worry about that. But if you've managed to book for a parents' evening or sign up for an ECA, then you will be able to book for your appointment time to pick up your child in school. All members of the school community will have to complete a travel declaration. You should have received this already, but if you haven't, excuse me, we will email this out to you after the presentation as well, so you can make sure that you fill that in and send that back into school. Within the school, we will have isolation rooms as well. And they will be for any child or any adult that comes onto the school site. that has an elevated temperature. So we would then isolate them in the isolation room. If it's a child, the nurse would come and pick up the child. They would contact the family, and then the family would come into school to pick up the child. That child with an elevated temperature would obviously not be permitted to go any further and down into the corridor. As we always ask, if your child is feeling unwell, if you are feeling particularly unwell, please do not come into school. Please do not send your child into school that day when they're not feeling very well. We do find with schools, and obviously as parents, you will know that sometimes if a bug, a cough, a cold comes into a school, it can move through the school very, very quickly. So if anybody is feeling particularly unwell, we ask that they do not come into school, and they can access school remotely through the online learning. We have obviously written a very thorough policy for the event of a COVID case in school. We obviously are hoping and praying that this does not happen, but we are a community, we are a family, so we do ask that everybody is particularly mindful, completes the travel declaration correctly, and does not send anybody into school who is feeling particularly unwell. Obviously at this time, hygiene is very, very important. So common areas within the school will be cleaned and disinfected every hour or after use. Hand sanitizer will be provided by the school and supervised by the staff. When a child enters the building, they will go through the temperature check, and then there'll be a hand sanitizing station where they sanitize their hands and then go up into the classroom. They will have hand sanitizer in the classroom as well, so they can keep applying that throughout the day. Year 3 and up are permitted to bring their own hand sanitizer into school, and it should be medically approved and contain at least 70% alcohol. We do ask you to be mindful as well of some of the other ingredients within the hand sanitizer. I do know some of the ones from Bath and Body Works, for example, include coconut oil. We do have children in school that are allergic to nuts, so be mindful of that as well, please. Shoes and bags. We ask that shoes and bags are sanitized each evening when you return home. They obviously can't be put through the washing machine, so please do sanitize them before they come back into school. We also are encouraging a paperless strategy and an increased use of technology. We will not go away from having a notebook. So a child may have a notebook in front of them. They can practice their handwriting. They will still use paper, but then they may take a photo of that paper and upload it onto Seesaw. So we will have iPads. And like you can see, the next point, children in years 1 to 4 will be provided with their own school use iPad. Each class will have a trolley of iPads. And so, for example, if I, on day 1, open the trolley and pick out iPad number 1, then iPad number 1 will be my iPad for the rest of the time. So they will not be shared amongst the children. Children, as I said earlier, will have a cubby box underneath their desk because we do want to limit the sharing of equipment. So please do, we'll go through a checklist later of what equipment is needed, but please do make sure they have the basics with them so they don't need to share from other children. So throughout the day, children will remain in their own learning group zone. So year 3 will remain in year 3, year 4 will remain in year 4. The classes will be split into 2 because in each year group there is a maximum, sorry, in each class there is a maximum of 12 children in a classroom. So it is the term blended learning that has caused a bit of confusion. So blended learning refers to a mix of live teaching and online teaching. So like I said a minute ago about the notepad, so children will still have the opportunity to write, but then that writing may get uploaded to Seesaw for the teacher to mark and to feed back to the child. Some lessons may be online, some lessons may be delivered face to face. For example, PE and music will still be delivered online because with their classes more high risk activities. So they will be delivered online. But other lessons, music, maths and English, for example, will be delivered face to face. So that is where the term blended comes in. It doesn't mean, unfortunately, that you can choose, the children can choose what days they come in and out of school. If children are coming to school, we'd like them to come into school and to keep coming into school. And if children have opted, or families you have opted for remote learning, then until you are ready to come into school, you stay on remote learning. It's not a case of coming in 2 days a week and then going home for 3 days a week. We would love every child to come into school, but we are well aware that some families are just not ready to do that yet. So please do make contact with me and let me know if you would like to avail remote learning for this term. So the education provision. So as I was saying, children will be in their learning group zone. So if we look at year 4, for example, they will be in their year 4 area. And the teachers and the children will stay in that year 4 area for the day. The classes will be split into a maximum of 12 children per classroom. We will keep groups of children and groups of teachers together. Teachers are permitted to walk between classrooms within their own year group. So Miss Lloyd's classroom, for example, her class will be split into 2 rooms. One class will be taught by Miss Lloyd, the other class will have a teaching assistant or another member of staff supporting that classroom. Because they are the same class, Miss Lloyd will be able to go between the 2 rooms. We will make sure that on one day, one class will be with Miss Lloyd. On the next day, she will be with the other group of 12 children. So each class will get the same input from the teacher and from the teaching assistant. Within the year groups as well, we will have specialist teachers. So if we look at Arabic, for example, an Arabic teacher would be with a year group, and then they would go into a class, and throughout the week, throughout the day, they would go between the different classrooms and still deliver Arabic to the children. It is the teachers that will rotate and not the children. So once they have their desk, their area, that is where they will be. There will be setting within the year groups. And this is going to be interesting because the classes will stay in their bubble, but then they may zoom into a lesson with another teacher who's delivering the lesson for them. They will be in a classroom, but the teacher could be in a different classroom. We are going to see how this goes, and we are going to take week by week and evaluate at the end of each week to see what has worked and what we can change to improve. Like I said, if you are not ready for the children coming into school as yet, please do drop me an email. My email is listed there. And then I will make a note of all the children that are not ready to come into school. And then your head of year will be in contact next week to outline how remote learning will take place. So we need children to bring in their own stationery into school, because obviously we can't share, we can't provide pens, glue sticks and things like that, for example. We won't be using glue sticks as much at the moment, but please do have a basic pack of stationery and everything that your child may need for that day. PE and music, as I mentioned before, will be online and completed at home, as they remain high-risk activities in regards to sanitising and keeping children safe within the school. We will review this, and guidelines from the KHDA and the Ministry of Health do change, and if any changes come, we will obviously make parents aware and let you know what the changes will be. Homework and the enrichment channel will start in week 3. Homework is obvious, you understand what homework is, but the enrichment program is similar to what happened during remote learning previously, where we had recorded activities that children can participate in. These will be put on YouTube again. Members of staff will produce a series of videos, and then the children can log in and then take part in those enrichment activities when they're at home in the afternoons, in the early evening. Unfortunately, the prayer rooms and the library will be closed. We're not permitted to open either one of those. Islamic children will be able to pray. So they can either pray in the classroom during a break time or a quiet area in the corridor. But unfortunately, we are not allowed to open the prayer rooms or the library. So another big question we've been having is, what does remote, or what will remote learning look like? All pupils will continue using their own login code. So you've been on Seesaw for the last few weeks. Children will continue using that code and accessing Seesaw. Some of the work will be set on Seesaw, and some of the live lessons, or mainly the core subjects, will take place. So a teacher will be delivering, the child will zoom into the live teaching lesson, have the input from the teacher, get on with the task, and then they can upload their work onto Seesaw for the teacher to mark and to give feedback to. Homework will be on Seesaw and will be included in home learning activities as well. So homework will be on Seesaw. That is where the activities will be posted. Children will log in, the activity will be there, they complete it on Seesaw, either upload a photo of their work or complete the work within a program and then upload that onto Seesaw. Teachers will contact parents through email. So as we do throughout the term, if you do need to speak to your teacher, please do drop them an email and communicate through that method. If a phone call is needed, or if a Zoom call is needed just to clarify something, that will be available as well. We do ask that parents don't use the messaging service on Seesaw. We'll prefer one avenue of communication, so class teachers know where to check to receive that communication. We do have a 24-hour turnaround on email. So if you contact a class teacher, it is 24 hours that you should receive a response from them. Sometimes it might be a, let me look into that and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Or they will be able to provide you the answer there and then. We will also this term be asking class teachers to make a phone call home to see how everything is going as well. We did that during remote learning and it was absolutely fantastic to be able to speak to all the parents and find out how things are going. So we will be doing that during this term as well. Food and beverages. So during this term, the dining hall will not be open. So every family, every child will need to bring in a packed lunch for the day. Please do send food in that is easy to eat, easy to open, because we want to try and keep the 2-meter distancing between teachers and children. So please do make sure you send food, packages, parcels that is easy for the child to open and eat. Children may eat at slightly different times throughout their year group. It depends how the lesson plans have fallen into place and with the spacing within the year group as well. They will be making use of the corridor to give them a bit of time to stretch their legs and to get out and to walk around. So that's why lunches might be staggered slightly. The next one is water. We are asking for children to bring in at least 2 litres of water a day to drink. That is quite a lot, and it is quite a lot to carry. So some ideas that people have been thinking of is you bring in 6 little bottles at the start of the week, and then replace those bottles every day. So it's only one time you have to carry a big sort of amount of water into school. As the bottles are drunk, the child takes a bottle home, and then the next day that bottle is replaced. So they always have an amount of water with them. So please do take note of that. The water dispensers are not allowed, because obviously a child will fill up a bottle. The bottle has been round their mouth, it gets near to the tap. So we've been told that water dispensers are not allowed. So the checklist of equipment that children will need throughout the day. With school uniform, we are being extremely flexible, and children can either wear their school uniform or their PE kit. We do ask that this is washed every evening, so it is a fresh, clean uniform every single day. Blazers and ties are not required. And as I mentioned before, it's further on, shoes and bags should be sanitized each day. So they obviously can't go through the washing machine. So please do make sure you just give them a bit of spray with some disinfectant to make sure that they are clean, ready to come back into school. Face masks, the blue paper face masks are absolutely fine, and we do ask that they have a spare with them, because they do break all the time. Just a slightly hard pull and the little elastic will come off. So please do make sure they have some spares with them. Stationery items in a small pencil case. Walking around school, it does always make me smile. Sometimes the pencil cases children have are huge, with everything you could ever imagine that they would ever need in that pencil case. So please do send them in with a smaller pencil case, whether it's a little plastic Ziploc bag that they can put in their little box. I think that would be a better idea than a large pencil case. The children will have one of the cubby boxes underneath their desk. That is their box, and that's where all their items will go. So they'll have their stationery in, maybe a book, maybe the iPad, water bottle, lunch, and headphones. So lunch in a box, in a small plastic bag, and like I said before, easy for them to eat, easy for them to open, so they can sit there and get on with their lunch. Water bottle to keep in their cubby, to keep them hydrated throughout the day, and headphones. So the children will need headphones if they zoom into a lesson with another teacher. Because they will be connecting them to an iPad, you will need either the little adapter that plugs them into the bottom of the iPad, or if it's Apple headphones, they already have the little adapter on them. So it's not the old-fashioned jack, it is the iPad adapter is what you would need for the headphones. As it is red break and the temperature outside at the moment is rather warm, children will be allowed to bring some equipment with them throughout the day or for the day to use at break time. Please, no footballs, no rugby balls, basketballs, frisbees, little activities, little games that a child can do on their own on their desk. We can't have packs of cards and things like that, because then they will be sharing those with other children. So a little something to do at break times would be good. So a checklist for parents. What do you need to do? So please make sure that you book a pickup time via the parent portal. We want to try and stagger the number of parents coming into school so the corridors are not too busy. It means you'll be able to arrive, park, go in, pick up your child, and then depart, hopefully all within a sort of 15-minute, 20-minute window by the time you've got into school. We do ask that you pick up your youngest child first. So if you do have multiple children at school, please go for the youngest child first and then work your way around the school, picking up your older child after that. Please do confirm as well with the class teacher the named adult who will be coming into school. So like I said, if I've booked it in my name, but one day it is somebody different coming into school, please do register that name with the class teacher. Please ensure that you have completed the health declaration as well. That is really important. You should have received that on email already. We will send it out again after this presentation. So if you haven't completed it, please do complete it and send it back into the school nurse. We do ask that lanyards are worn at all times. Sorry, I took mine off to put my jacket on and forgot to put it back on. So we do ask that lanyards are worn at all times. This is for health and safety and also for safeguarding of the children. We need to know who is on site at all times. You should all have a lanyard, so please do remember it, because it obviously is a health and safety risk as well if you have to pick up a visitor's lanyard. They will be cleaned, they will be sterilised, but people often much prefer to wear their own lanyard as opposed to a visitor's one. Please do familiarise yourselves with the parking and dropping off procedures. So if you have any questions regarding the parking and pickup procedures, please do let us know. I will mention it after this slide, and that will give you a bit more detail. When you do come into school, we do ask that people do not congregate in the junior school reception. Previously, just before pickup, everybody would wait in junior school reception. We please ask that you wait in, if you do arrive a little bit early, wait in your car until your pickup time and then come into school. And the last one, health again. If in doubt, please do not send your child to school. Log in remotely. If they are ill in any way at all. Unfortunately, corona can attack some diseases quite hard. So if your child's got diabetes, for example, coronavirus can be particularly nasty. So please do not send a child into school if they are not well. They can log in remotely, so they can still access the curriculum if they've got a little cough or a cold, so they will not miss any learning. So dropping off for junior school. For years 3 and 4, you will enter through the print room door. You're requested not to go into the junior school reception. So the picture you can see here is the junior school reception. We're asking year 3 and 4 children to enter through this door. Hopefully you will recognize this door. This is the door next to year 3. It has the print room on the right hand side. Behind you is the boarding house. So that is where we would like you to enter. So we've got half of the school coming through one way, half of the school coming through another way. As you can see on that picture, there are yellow dots on the floor, and that will indicate the one-way system. So for year 3, you will enter through this door, follow the one-way system down through the year 3 corridor, pick up your child, and then carry on out the bottom, out onto the Repton Circle, turn left, and then walk back to the car park. We do ask that parents do not approach the classroom. You stay in the middle of the corridor, close to a yellow spot. Your child will be ready because we know the time that you are going to arrive in school. They will be passed over to you, and then you carry on out the door. So if all goes well, it should be a 10-15 minute process to get into school, pick your child up, and then exit. Year 4, you will enter through this door, up the stairs, down the year 4 corridor, pick up your child, down the stairs at the far end of the year 4 corridor by the Repton Circle, out the door at the bottom, turn left, walk round, and then exit into the car park. Oh, so I've just described the pickup procedures on the drop-off slide. I do apologise for that. So dropping off, you will drop children off at the picket fence just here. If there will be a drop-off zone, so you can pull up in your car, the child will get out of the car and then walk into school. If you have parked and you walk your child to the gate, parents will not be permitted past that gate. The child will walk in, there will be a teacher on that gate, they'll walk past the teacher into the building, have their temperature checked, sanitize their hands, and then head off into their year group. So if you do have any questions between now and school starting, please do drop an email to Miss Simmons for year 3 or Miss Lloyd for year 4. If you would like to do remote learning for term 1, please do drop me an email. If you have any questions that you've jotted down throughout this presentation, please do send them to either Miss Simmons or Miss Lloyd, and we will put some answers together and we will send them out as one complete document so you can see all the questions and answers that other people have asked. So that is the end of me talking. Thank you for listening. I do feel like I've taught at you for about 40 minutes now. So I hope there's been lots of useful information there and it has answered all of your questions. If it hasn't, please jot them down, send them in, and we will put an answer and send it out to everybody. I'll just hand over to Miss Simmons now. I'm sure Miss Simmons would like to say a few words to everybody.
Hello everyone, I'm Mrs. Simmons. I just wanted to say a big hello. It's so lovely to see so many faces. I'm really looking forward to seeing you all next week. And as Mr. Jake said, if you have any questions, please do just contact me, send me an email. Hi Annika, I can see you waving at me. Send me an email and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have, and I will also send them on to Mr. Jake to collect them all together as well. So looking forward to seeing you all next week.
Miss Lloyd.
Hi everyone. Just like Mrs. Simmons said, I can't wait to see you either in person. It's been a long time. Really looking forward to seeing you, and please email me. You're more than welcome whenever with any questions that you have. Like Mr. Jake said, we'll be sending out an FAQs for you, so please don't hesitate to email. See you soon.
So that just leaves me to say thank you very much for coming to the presentation today. I hope it was useful. I am super excited to see everybody coming back into school. All the children that are returning, really excited to see you. All the new children that are coming to Repton, we are even more excited to welcome you into the Repton family. It is 1 week left. New children will be in next Thursday. Returning children will be in on Sunday. So we are super excited to see everybody. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and we look forward to welcoming you back to school. Take care and goodbye.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye, see you.
Bye, see you soon.
Bye.